Much like LeBron James some years ago, we've also taken our talents to South Beach, Miami, Florida, the site of the 2017 Major League Baseball All-Star Game, as well as the site of Fan Fest going on all weekend long. That's where we find our very own JB, and he's standing by with a guy who knows a thing or two or 12 maybe about All-Star games. JB, it's all yours. Take it away.
Thank you, Matt. I do, in fact, know a great deal about All-Star games. This is FanFest 2017. I am JB. It's now time for the Edward Jones Chatting Cage with Hall of Famer Frank Thomas.
Thank you.
A good friend, a good man, a man who knows a thing or two about All-Star. There's a lot going on down here as this Chatting Cage gets underway, Frank. Real quick before we kick into the fan questions, as you've arrived in Miami, you start to feel it. What's it like?
You know what? This is the first year that I got here on the first day, so I could tell it's early. Airport is not as full yet. I'm sure by tomorrow it's going to be crazy. I'm happy to be here on opening day at the Fan Fest just to see how things unwind. I'll be here all weekend, so I'm proud and happy to be here.
All right, before we get into all your questions, fans, let me talk through how this is going to work. We are at Fan Fest together. I'm lucky enough to be joined here by a friend and Hall of Famer in Frank Thomas. Get your questions in. The MLB Fans app is the way to do that. You can write it in. I'll do my best to read it in the way that I think you might want it said. If I am mistaken, then email me. I'm sure I'd be happy to. If not, get your device fired up. Talk to Frank directly. Then I can just be part of the fans that watch and enjoy the show. That's the MLB Fans app or your laptop. On Twitter, the hashtag is Chatting Cage. Type that in. And again, I will do my best impersonation. A lot of fans want to know, there's a big hitter in baseball right now, Frank.
Oh, yeah.
His name is Aaron Judge. Seems to be reminiscent of someone.
He's a monster.
What's your thoughts, and what does he look like when you see him swinging?
He's a massive man. I mean, the guy's 6'5". They say 6'7". I think he's 6'8". Around 300 pounds of muscle. So it's amazing the balls he's hitting first half. And I'm just really, shocked how much work he did this offseason. You know, to shorten that swing down. And it's very obvious because I saw him the first couple weeks of the season. I'm like, whoa, his swing is a lot shorter. And I found out through some digging with some people that he really worked his butt off this offseason to shorten his swing and control more of the zone. The man has tremendous power. We knew the power was there. And you're seeing a short swing hitting the ball 500 feet easily.
In all kinds of directions.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what's great. That's what I love about him. I mean, he's using the whole field. Definitely in triple crown contention, but as a rookie is unheard of.
All right, well, there you have it, folks. That's Frank Thomas talking about one of the great hitters who'll be in that derby, Aaron Judge, for the New York Yankees. Get your questions in. Again, the MLB Fans app is the way to do that. And then I'll read it like this. Titanic 512 wants to know, right now, Frank, who's your favorite player in Major League Baseball?
That's a tough one. I mean, I'm a front runner right now, so I got to go with Aaron Judge, you know. Watching this guy use the whole field like I did and some other all-around hitters, this guy right now is impressing me because he has the ability to use the whole field. He's hitting for a high average. He's driving in runs, and that's what baseball should be, not just looking to hit home runs. This guy's looking every at-bat to do damage, but to also drive in the tough runs.
All right, folks, there you have it, just like that. Or you can find your spot here at FanFest. Get your questions in to Frank Thomas. This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. JB alongside Hall of Famer Frank Thomas. You can get your questions. Some of those questions are being handled back in New York by our good friend Matt Waymeyer. Matt, what do you got?
Okay, JB, thanks very much. And Frank, this one from Twitter, and they want to know, what do you think about the changes to not just the All-Star game, but the All-Star festivities, including Home Run Derby with the timed format, and about removing the provision that the winning league in the All-Star game also gets home field in the World Series? That, of course, goes away this year. What are your thoughts on that?
The guys get to come down and enjoy the All-Star game instead of trying to make the game count for that, you know, that home field advantage in the World Series. I think it's very important that at All-Star break the guys come down and really enjoy themselves for 3 days instead of, you know, really coming here and trying to turn it back up for a game that counts. So that's a big change, and I'm really happy they went back to the old format.
It's pretty exciting to have that conversation with you about all those things. We have plenty more coming up. Home Run Derby Monday night. It's going to be a stellar show. There's no question about that. Fans, get your device fired up. Join us here in the Edward Jones Chatting Cage and talk to Frank directly. That way, Matt, myself, and the rest of us can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show as it unfolds before us like a fine drama. Let's see if we have a fan with us now. Fan, are you there? What's your name?
Yeah.
What's your question for Frank?
What active player would you compare yourself to right now?
You know, I still see the comparisons. I mean, I think you look at guys like Albert Pujols and Miguel Cabrera. I think from the right side, we kind of mirrored each other for many years. I think it all became about longevity, who played the longest. And we're sitting with Pujols now, just getting over 600 home runs. So I think all three of our careers pretty mirrored each other with high average and power and driving in big runs.
All right, there at the online fan. Thanks for sticking around with us as we work out. You know, this thing goes to space,
Yes.
and then back to New York. So things happen with that. We have a Miami fan right here with us. I can tell because she's wearing a lot of orange and amazing colors. With a small Miami fan with her.
He's sleeping right now.
What is your name and what is your question for Frank?
My name is Riza, and my question is: we have our own home run derby champion here, Stanton, and what do you think about him?
I still think he's pound for pound the strongest man in baseball. Everyone is talking about Judge right now, but Judge is much bigger, much larger man. But nobody hits the ball harder than Giancarlo Stanton. I mean, it's amazing to watch the ball come off his bat, and I've seen him take batting practice and tear up more grass than any hitter I've ever seen in my life.
Awesome.
And what I mean about tearing up grass, when the ball comes off his bat, when it hits the grass, it like takes out the grass. So it shows you the force off his bat when he's swinging the bat.
Thank you. He says he's going to win it, so hopefully he does.
I'm excited about this derby because they got some real power hitters going on Monday.
All right, that leads us in. Thank you so much, Riza. It's like we set things up. The EDJ question of the day is, Frank, who is your pick for the winner of the Home Run Derby?
It's going to be a tough one. But I've been in this derby before, and it takes some experience to win this thing.
True.
But, you know, you can't count out Aaron Judge because he is hitting home runs the right way, and I mean he's not over swinging. He's just big, powerful with a short swing. But it's going to be hard to say he's going to beat Giancarlo when he's got this hometown crowd behind him. So I'm going to stick with Stanton. It's going to be a big fireworks show. There's a couple other guys in there, too, who are going to make this thing exciting, and Miguel Sano and Cody Bellinger, those kids. These guys can hit this year, and it's going to be a great derby.
No, it's going to be a great derby. There you have it, folks, the EDJ question of the day. And the pick from Frank Thomas. This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. That's Hall of Famer Frank Thomas. I'm JB. Get your device fired up. Join us here in the cage. Get your question in directly. If you can't make it to FanFest in the next, 15 minutes, devices are your best bet, like this fan here. What's your name? What's your question for Frank?
I'm Owen Christo from Boston, Massachusetts, but I'm a Blue Jays fan. And Frank, what do you think you did differently that made you one of the best power hitters throughout all of baseball?
I cared about a high average and just getting hits, and when I stayed locked in and hit the ball hard, home runs just happen.
So for those who don't know, because you're here, you can't quite hear it, Owen, who's a Blue Jays fan, wanted to know what made Frank different from other power hitters, what it was that he made differently. So you led into it. What were the few of the steps?
And that was, like I said, it was just, just going up there to get hits and not try to worry about the long ball. I see kids now, they look like they're going to hit the home run every time up. I never thought like that. I mean, I thought it was certain pitchers or certain counts that did that. But normally I would just go up there looking to drive the ball up the middle of the field, and then whatever happened, happens.
Big part of the field, and then you're strong, and so the ball would leave the field.
Exactly.
There you go. Just be giant and strong and use your brain the way that Frank Thomas did, your home run hitter. A fan live here in Miami. Sir, what's your name? What's your question?
I'm John Swift from Shepherdstown, West Virginia.
Okay.
Frank, congratulations on the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, sir.
What do you think about the Hall of Fame for other designated hitters? Who are the hitters that you think are really competitive?
Well, I mean, I get that quite a bit, but I still going to say I was a first baseman first, and then I came in as a designated hitter later in my career. I won 2 MVPs as a first baseman. That's what I tell people. Don't forget that. Okay.
Never.
But as for designated hitters, I think David Ortiz is going to be a lock to get in. But I don't know after that who's going to have a chance to get in.
No ideas.
No idea right now.
Okay.
I think David Ortiz will be the next to get in. Yes.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So we got a few years to wait on that one until David Ortiz is in. How many MVPs was it at first?
What now?
How many MVPs was it at first? 2. Just confirming that.
12 full years at first, before. I just told people the last 6 years I was an everyday designated hitter.
Yep.
So people get confused with that. Because in the first of my career, they didn't think about it. And in the end of the career, I was DHing.
Because you were
lost a lot of points off my batting average, and You know, it's really hard to DH. It's not an easy position. Most people think it's easy,
Right.
but it's just like pinch hitting 4 times a day. It's a tough job.
Yeah.
And I lost like 40 points off my career average.
When you shifted.
You know, doing that. So when I see guys saying I want to be an everyday DH, it's not that easy. We see it with Hanley Ramirez right now.
Right.
All of a sudden he wants to DH full time. He's hitting 250.
Yep.
You know, and he's a much better hitter than that. But it's like it takes a lot to stay warm and stay loose and stay mentally involved in the game as a pinch hitter, basically.
Absolutely. We go back now to New York. Matt Waymar, you got something for us. What's up?
Sure do. Frank, another question from Twitter, and this one a really intriguing one. Which player from the past would you most like to see compete in a home run derby?
That's kind of interesting. I mean, I played with a lot of big-time power hitters. But I would like to see Dave Winfield in one.
Ooh.
You know, Dave Winfield in a home run derby. I just think back then it wasn't that big of a deal.
Right.
But to see him really try to hit the ball out of the ballpark could be interesting.
That would be because he knows.
Because he was such a fear to hitter.
Yeah.
People pitched around him so much, but for him to go up and just try to hit the ball in the ballpark, that's a big man just like Stanton. So I would love to see Big Dave.
You know what? Just him taking BP would just be fine.
He was thunderous shots, but it was just so hard for him to get the ball in the strike zone. It's tough for him.
That's amazing. So that's your answer from the online fans there. Again, be a part of the show like this fan here. What's your name? What is your question for Frank?
Hey, my name is Jack Weldon, and I just want to know, Frank, who do you think is the most powerful hitter currently on the White Sox team right now?
That's a no-brainer. That's Jose Abreu. I mean, he's had a rough go the last couple of years, but he's an incredible player, incredible hitter. We've seen flashes this year that he's back. I'm looking forward for a big second half from him. I mean, he's definitely the biggest power hitter they have.
I'll go back now to the MLB Fans app. Again, folks, be like those fans. Join us here on the show by getting your device fired up. You can use the MLB Fans app or on your laptop, fire up your webcam, be a part of the show. Twitter, the hashtag is chattingcage. And then I would read your question in that way. We have another fan joining us via their device. Fan, what is your name and what is your question for Frank?
Hey, my name is Chris. Frank, thanks for taking my question. Chicago boy here. You were my hero growing up. So again, thank you. My question, aside from series and the Hall of Fame, what is your favorite moment out of all baseball?
There were a lot, man. There were a lot. I just think in 2005, I mean, just walking off as a champion with that team, you know, watching an organization grow for 16 years and finally get it in my last year with the team. I mean, it was a lot of individual moments, but, you know, finally get a ring in 2005 was my biggest accomplishment as a Chicago White Sox.
05 is the answer. Chris, thanks for joining us. And before we say goodbye to Frank, who was kind enough to take a part of his All-Star week out to be here in the Edward Jones Chatting Cage, I'm going to go back to the MLB Fans app one more time. And Shy Cubby wants to know, that's right, a Cubs fan asking Frank a question.
Okay.
How good does that feel to have HOF, Hall of Fame, in front of your name?
Oh, it's amazing. You know, your goals when you come out of high school is to play in college. Then out of college, if you have a great college career, is maybe go pro. And now, you know, going pro and then having a good career, then you want to be an all-star, but no one dreams of being a Hall. I mean, you can dream all you want of being a Hall of Famer. It's just so hard to become one.
Yeah.
And to get it and to make it happen, it's no greater feeling in the world. I mean, really, I was so emotional when I got there because, you know, I respected the men that came before me and big fans of a lot of them, and to have them on stage with me was an incredible feeling. It really was.
It was an incredible moment to watch as a fan. I know I did. And I appreciated that you thanked everyone who had anything to do with your career ever.
They cut me off. I had another 300 to go. They just cut me down.
All right, well, that's our time for this Edward Jones Chatting Cage. Big round of applause for Hall of Famer Frank Thomas, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Fans, thank you for being a part of this Edward Jones Chatting Cage. We will wrap this one up, and we'll see you the next time we start pitching them here in the Edward Jones Chatting Cage.